Good morning, this is Keisha Spivey, and I'm bringing you some Friday Fire. Today I have the joy of speaking to you from one of my husband's favorite passages in the Bible. He quotes this, he reads this, he prays this over me and our children all the time. But today I want to read it to you out of the Message Bible because I believe it's going to bring to the very forefront a couple of key things that we might have missed through the years. And I'm going to read it verbatim because I don't want to jack it up trying to quote it from the version that I've learned. But it says, "You who sit down in the high God's presence, spend the night in Shaddai's shadow. Say this, God, you're my refuge. I trust in you and I'm safe." That's right. He rescues you from hidden traps, shields you from deadly hazards. His huge outstretched arms protect you. Under them, you're perfectly safe. His arms fend off all harm. You know, in a time when people are terrified of what's going on, terrorism, shooting, all kinds of things happening with crime, there's some peace and some assurance we can have when we lean onto Psalms 91. As I was praying through some very personal things this week for myself and for my family and for my children, the Lord dropped something in my spirit. I believe it was on Monday. And he says, you know what? I bubble wrap you guys in my protection. You're bubble wrapped in my favor. You're bubble wrapped in my provision. You're bubble wrapped in my grace. And I immediately thought about when my kids used to play with bubble wrap and how they would punch the little things and pop them. But I thought about all the things that came in the boxes that were so protected and so secure. No matter what company threw it around or if it fell all off the back of a truck, when it came to me, it was fine because the bubble wrap protected it from whatever sources it came against, whatever temperatures, whatever sharp edges, whatever could tempt to harm it or break it or devalue it, it was protected. And it's no different than that for us. We got to understand we're protected. Don't allow fear and worry and stress and anxiety to rule you. Remember that the peace of God should rule in your heart. You are protected. Your children are protected. Every day, plead the blood of Jesus over them and just rejoice in the fact that they're covered and they're protected. I have a very personal testimony to share about this. On this week, my son was hit by a car. He was on the college campus going to his dorm on his scooter, and a car came around the corner like 25, 30 miles an hour and hit him. He flipped across the hood of the car, landed on the opposite side on his feet. Nothing happened to him. Nothing happened to his scooter. There was nothing I could do 2.5 hours away to protect my son. But guess what? That morning when I prayed for him and I covered him and I dispatched angels around him, God could do things for him that I could not. I didn't foresee the car coming. But guess what? The word says no weapon formed against us will prosper. Didn't say the weapons wouldn't form. That day the form came in the package of a Mercedes-Benz. But it didn't matter what it was. He won. He was protected. He was covered. So I want to challenge you. Stop sitting up at night and losing sleep and fretting over this. You can't control it. How about rest and trust in God? This word says spend the night in his shadow. That means get comfortable and crawl up in your daddy's lap and rest because he's got you. It says he rescues you from hidden traps. Think about the things that he's protected you from that you know about. What about the things that you don't? It says he shields you from deadly hazards. We live in a fallen world and we're surrounded by things that are dangerous. It's God's hand of protection that keeps and covers us. It says his huge outstretched arm protects you. Under them, you're perfectly safe. His arm fends off the harm. You don't have to fight to protect you. God fights for you. You just got to rest. You got to labor to enter the rest that can only come in trusting in God and knowing that his provision, his protection, his goodness, his favor, his mercy, it's got you. And I want you to see yourself today in a cardboard box, wrapped up, completely bubble wrapped and protected in his love. He's got you. He's got you. Trust him with your life. Trust him with your children. Trust him with your finances. Let him be God. He is the great I am. Let him be your source. Let him be your provision. Let him be your protection. Your bubble wrap, baby. He's got you. And don't you let anything or anyone else convince you otherwise. You have an amazing day and a blessed weekend, and I'll see you on next Friday.